You are one of America's best-known documentary filmmakers, having earned both critical acclaim and widespread popularity for your work over the past 25 years. Your Emmy Award-winning film Roger and Me brought the plight of unemployed auto workers in Michigan with international attention and launched her career as a provocative social critic. As a director and producer of the highest-grossing documentary of all time, Fahrenheit 9/11, you were awarded the prestigious Palme d'Or for your film for Bowling. Your film Bowling for Columbine won an Academy Award for documentary feature. Throughout your life, you have been a champion of active democracy, traveling throughout the country to exhort people, especially college students, to vote and participate in politics. For your civic courage and your use of your considerable creative talent to question injustice and inequity in America, I am pleased to award your Downey Reed Doctor of Humanities from Michigan State University.
Thank you, Dr. Simon, and welcome everyone to this day's non-controversial commencement ceremony. I'm pleased to be the mainstream speaker here today.
These are tennis shoes.
My speech today will be long, and at the end of it, I will forgive all student debt. My congratulations to all the graduates that are gathered here today at a winter graduation. Not quite sure what a winter graduation is. I assume you're either the smart students that finished 6 months early, or you're more like me, the procrastinators who are in your 4th or 5th year. Good. Stay that way. It's done well by me to put off to tomorrow what I can do today. That's the only real piece of advice I'm going to give you today. Actually, I do want to single out a few of the graduates that are sitting amongst us here at the various schools that are graduating here today. First of all, I want to give special thanks to the engineering student who is present, who will someday figure out how to put humans in one of those vacuum tubes that you get at the drive-thru bank. We'll be able to get from here to Traverse City in 10 minutes. Thank you, whoever you are, engineering graduate. I'd like to thank the science graduate here today, who after today's ceremony is going to explain to me exactly where it was that Matthew McConaughey went in that movie. Or at the Oscars. Wherever he is. To the communications student. You know who you are, the one communications student is graduating here today, who will someday go to work for Fox News and report a fact. By the way, I want to make one correction. My fellow doctor, honoree here, worked for George H.W. Bush. Share the love. To the nursing student. Nurses, where are you? There you are. Such deep voices. Where are the men? Well, whichever one of you is going to do this in the future, to that nursing student, who one day will be fed up with what they call hospital food, and go and get the patient in bed 2A and out backstage. Thank you for that in advance. Not saying it's going to be me, just thank you in advance. To the agricultural student, where's the agricultural school here? Don't make it sound like Lou. To the agricultural natural resources school. who is going to do all of us a great favor and figure out how to make broccoli taste like a mocha shake. Thank you. And there's something called Lyman Briggs. I've never heard, what is that? What is it? Simon Welch. To whoever you are, thank you for one day creating peace on earth. Let's hear it for Lyman Briggs. I knew who you are. Lyman Briggs people. It's so great standing underneath the Flintstones banner here from 2000. Very cool. Thank you also for this honorary degree that you give me here today. I don't have a degree. I did not graduate from college. That's nothing to be proud of. I dropped out. I went to the University of Michigan Flint branch. I know. I personally want to thank you today for picking up a fallen Wolverine and showing him the straight path to a good future. Thank you, Spartan. Thank you, Spartan. Actually, it was the first day of my sophomore year at Flint U of M. It was a commuter campus, and there weren't enough parking spaces. It's a true story. I drove around for an hour looking for a parking space, and after an hour I couldn't find one. And I just said, oh, the hell with it, and I dropped out of college. I swear to God, I went back to class, and I went home and I told my parents I just dropped out of college. They said, why? I couldn't find a parking space. Michigan State played a very special role in my youth. And actually, the last time I spoke here was in 1971, and all hell broke loose. But I'll save that for the end. I think, those of us from Flint, you know that we have a very special place in our hearts for Michigan State because of the Flintstones, because of 2000. It's odd, you go to Flint, and it's the University of Michigan town, but it's green and white all over the city and all over the area. It's kind of a cool thing. And it's really honors, I think, the fact that Michigan State is our state school for people like the middle class, the working class. People who maybe didn't get the lucky breaks, or their parents didn't get the lucky breaks in their lives. I'm sure there's many of you students here today are the first graduates in your family of a four-year institution, right? Parents and grandparents, let's hear it for them. I had a hard time in school. I had a real struggle with it. I was bored a lot. I didn't fit in very well. And at an early age, they told us that we go to school to learn the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I must have been in second or third grade, and I thought, 2 of those don't even begin with R. They're already telling me things that aren't true. But by the time I was in high school, I realized that it was really a lot of it. I had great teachers and wonderful education at Davison High School, if anybody's from Davison here in the Flint area. But I learned that at school then it was really about the 3 C's, learning the 3 C's: consistency, complacency, and conformity. And it's very important for the system to send out a whole bunch of human beings into the adult world so that the boat doesn't get rocked too much. And there's really, I think, no better way to make sure you don't rock the boat than these days to send you into debtor's prison when you leave school. This is the worst thing that my generation has done to you graduates. You shouldn't really have to owe a dime. You should be able to leave the school, seriously. If you lived in any other Western country, any industrialized country, you'd pay nothing or next to nothing for this education. We're the only country that does this in that way, and I just think it's wrong. We didn't have to pay for it. I don't think you should either. And I don't think you at 22 should have to think, oh my God, I gotta get a job, I gotta take any job I can get so I can pay off this debt. Now is not the time to worry about paying off debt. Now is the time to go find yourself, to see the world, to figure out what it is you want to do, to work this job, that job, till you find your place. And I just wanted to apologize on behalf of my generation. that this situation has happened like this. And I hope that you make it better for your children so that we can get to the point, because frankly, if we altered our priorities, I was just doing the math in my head, the money that we've spent on these wars in the last 12 years, if we had taken that money each year, we could have given $20,000 a year to over 2 million students. That's why this is upon you now to do something about this. But listen, I know we live in Michigan, we live in a great state, and we've had very hard times for the last few decades. But I want to tell you something about this state that you're in. We're a remarkable people, and we've done great things before, and we continue to do those things. We're the state that put the world on wheels. This all started right here. Some crazy guy thought we didn't need a horse to pull the carriage, and they thought he was crazy. But he did it in Dearborn, Michigan. We're the state that got people eating breakfast from Battle Creek. We're the people who put baby food in a jar, mashed it up over there in Gerber, put it in a jar. We brought home delivery pizza in 30 minutes or less. That's us. Right here in Michigan. Come on. We're the only ones who make real ginger ale. Yes. We've also made really great people have come from this state. Jarvik, who invented the artificial heart. Gibson moved here and began making guitars, the Gibson guitar. Rosa Parks and Sojourner Truth made their homes here. There's all the music from Aretha, all the Motown, Eminem, White Stripes, Madonna, Seeger, even Nugent, the whole classic rock, all of this great music, Iggy, MC5, Punch started here, the pop stars, all of this that came from here. If you made The Godfather, you were born in Detroit, Michigan. If you are Mrs. Doubtfire, if you were, sadly, Mrs. Doubtfire, you were born in Detroit, Michigan. And the list goes on and on and on. We gave the world the middle class. Before the Flint sit-down strike of 1936-37, there was no such thing as a middle class. There were the rich who owned everything, and there were all the workers who had to work 6 or 7 days a week, and there was no such thing as a vacation or health care or anything like that. And the unions and the strikes in Michigan started here, then allowed for working people to be middle-class people, own their own home, and send their kids to university. That started right here in this great state of Michigan. The first animated film was made by a Michigander from Spring Lake, Windsor McKay. The first documentary was made by Robert Flaherty, Nanook of the North, from Iron Mountain, Michigan. Ken Burns from Ann Arbor, Michigan. The list goes on and on. And then there's this kid from Port Huron. These lights are here today because of him. He invented the light bulb. He invented the movies. He invented so many things. Thomas Edison grew up in Port Huron. Look at what Michigan's given the world. That's all a result of these people here. But I'm mentioning a lot of old people. And there's something I think that you graduates need to hear that's happened here with Michigan. And it's the people who didn't stay, but were born here, were raised here, and what they've given the world. These are Michiganders too. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, was born right here in East Lansing, Michigan, and graduated from East Lansing High School. Did you know that? Steve Ballmer, the past CEO of Microsoft from Farmington Hills. Hewlett and Packard from Ann Arbor. Sun Microsystems, the co-founder of that from Farmington Hills. The two guys that invented Photoshop are from Ann Arbor. The guy who started CompuWare is from Detroit. The CEO of Craigslist is from Ann Arbor. The CEO of Twitter is from Royal Oak. The guy who was the father, the man who invented the iPod for Apple is from Grosse Pointe. The list goes on and on and on. But they didn't stay. There's the Silicon Valley now. when it should probably have been a Grand Valley or a Saginaw Valley. And that's incumbent upon us, you and our generation, to see that we create a situation here where the next great inventor, the next great thinker, the next great artist doesn't leave, but realizes they can do that in this state and create those middle-class jobs that we need here so badly. I said at the beginning I was going to tell you a story about my last time I spoke here on campus. I was 16, I think I just turned 17. I was a junior in high school. And it was at Boys State. You know what Boys State is? Every high school, I don't know, they still do this in Michigan? They send them here. So they picked 5 kids from every high school, 5 girls, 5 boys, send them here to MSU, and they play government for a week. You elect the governor of Michigan, lieutenant governor of legislature. And so I was selected from my school to come here, but I didn't want to be a politician, and I just sat in the Brody dorms all week, just listening to music. Just listening to music. And it was 1971. And I didn't attend any of the sessions. I just stayed there at Brody. It's a big place. You could kind of get lost. They wouldn't know where to find you. And one day, I went down to the snack machine, my favorite place on the floor, and there was a sign on the bulletin board that said speech contest on the life of Abraham Lincoln. Give a speech and win a prize. Sponsored by the Elks Club. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, that's really weird. Because my dad had just gone to join the Elks Club, and on the application, the very top, 1971, it said, Caucasians only, whites only, 1971, in the state of Michigan. Because then it was still legal to discriminate in a private club. You couldn't do it in public accommodations or anything public.